The Resilience Across Borders podcast is intended for education, support, and inspiration. I am not a psychologist or a medical doctor and do not offer any professional, medical, or health advice. If you are dealing with or suffering from any psychological or medical conditions, please seek help from a qualified health professional. Hello and welcome back to Resilience Across Borders podcast. I am your host, Rachid, and in today's episode, we will talk about recognizing the difference between productive thinking and thinking that causes misery and how to shift toward peace and joy. Also, side note, I do have a journal out there that is called Emotional Gym, that is designed to help you get focused, get organized, and not sleepwalk through life. So feel free to get a copy of that if you would like not to sleepwalk through life. Anyways, our minds are powerful tools, but like any tool, how we use them makes all the difference. The same thinking ability that helps us solve problems and create breakthroughs can also trap us in cycles of worry, regret, and self-criticism. So learning to recognize the difference between productive thinking and misery thinking is the key to a calmer, happier life. Here are some practical ways to spot the difference and what to do when your thoughts start leading you into misery. Number one, remember, productive thinking solves, misery thinking loops. The difference is productive thinking focuses on solutions, focuses on action steps, and focuses on gaining clarity. On the other hand, misery thinking replays the same scenario over and over without resolution, leading to anxiety and rumination. So what do? When you notice you've circled the same thought for the third time, pause and ask yourself, am I solving this or just spinning on it? An example is, say you missed a deadline. You think, okay, I'll email my client and update and adjust my calendar to avoid this next time. This is productive thinking. Misery thinking, you replay the mistake in your head for hours, telling yourself, I always mess things up. This is not productive. Number two, productive thinking is present. Misery thinking is usually past or future trapped. You're trapped in the past or you're trapped in the future and your thinking is just stuck there. So productive thinking is grounded in the present moment. Like, where am I now? What can I do now? Misery thinking is usually stuck in regret over the past or worry about the future. Of course, not all past thinking is bad, for example, if you're extracting a lesson or you're revisiting a situation to extract the wisdom or connect a dot, for an instance, or not all future thinking is bad if that thinking is like for creating a plan or a vision. But of course, I know you know the difference. So anyway, so what to do? When this happens, you can use a grounding practice, like I mentioned in my previous podcast, and that is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique. Noticing 5 things you see, 4 things you feel, 3 things you hear, 2 things you smell, and 1 thing you taste. This interrupts misery loops and pulls you back to the present. Or you can also focus on the breathing and pick one of the breathing techniques that I mentioned in one of the previous podcasts, or in the one dedicated to using breathing, like really as a remote control, really, to calm yourself down, right? So another example of a productive thinking is you're worried about an upcoming presentation. So you think, I'll practice my slides once more tonight, right? Misery thinking is you lie awake imagining every possible way you could fail tomorrow. This is different from preparing. Of course, you prepare, you do what you need to do, you account for things, but then you don't get stuck in this imaginary doom and gloom, right? Again, I know you know the difference, but I'm here to remind you, okay? So number 3, productive thinking has an end point. Misery thinking is endless. So the productive thinking feels complete once you've made a decision or you have taken an action. Misery thinking never feels finished. It just lingers and resurfaces, or it loops. You can set a mental time limit for anything. Say, okay, I'll give myself 10 minutes to think about this, then I'll take the next step and let it go. Finito, out, done, right? So productive thinking, you consider, say, for instance, two job offers. Maybe you make a pros and cons list and decide, say, by the end of the week, right? But misery thinking, you keep revisiting the decision daily, even after choosing, and second guessing yourself endlessly. You don't want to do that. It's not fun. Number 4, productive thinking builds you up. Misery thinking tears you down. So productive thinking leads to self-improvement. It leads to growth. It leads to understanding. But misery thinking leads to guilt. It leads to shame or self-criticism. So notice your self-talk. If your thoughts sound like a harsh critic rather than a helpful guide, then it's time to shift. And you can shift by asking, what would I say to a friend in this situation? For instance, after a conflict, you think, next time I'll take a deep breath before responding. Misery thinking, you keep telling yourself, oh, I'm terrible at relationships. I always ruin things. Again, who wants that, right? The mind can either be your best ally or your worst tormentor. By practicing awareness and asking yourself key questions, am I solving or am I looping? Am I present or am I stuck in the past or worried about the future? Does this thought have an end point? You can catch misery thinking before it drains your energy. Shifting toward productive thinking not only helps you solve real problems, it also creates space for peace, self-compassion, and joy. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes to think in ways that lift you up rather than drag you down. So again, thank you for listening. And thank you for tuning into the Resilience Across Borders podcast. Please share the podcast. Please review it. Pick up a copy of the journal Emojim on Amazon. Follow the blog at resilience.com. And remember to be kind to yourself and be kind to others and stay resilient.